Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at some of the stocks that were in play on Friday. Okay, first up, let's take a look at MARR. It closed up nearly 18% on Friday. It was a nice close back above the 50 level on RSI, so at 54 there's a lot of room to run until overbought levels. Now back above 80 on Fasto. You've got a bull cross here on ADX, so that's a good sign with the plus DI crossing ADX to the upside. And so the big move for MARA last week was the close above the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average. It's a green line at 29. So going forward next week, bulls want to see that level turn into support. If 29 holds, there could potentially be a run up to the 100-day simple moving average at 41. That would be the next key simple moving average resistance level to break. Notice after having this downtrend, there's been a sideways channel. The share price is currently hitting the top of the channel, and it's the closing price on the 31st of July is the key level to break. So you want to see it close above that on Monday, and then that could potentially lead to a run higher. Keep an eye on the volume. Volume is picking up, but it is still relatively light. And so, yeah, keep an eye on MARA. Nice move on Friday. We'll see if it can follow through next week. Okay, let's take a look at AMRS. Okay, this had a nice bounce on Friday. It's been had this huge drop, a big pullback after the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average support level broke. So first the middle Bollinger Band broke, and then the 50-day simple moving average broke, the green line there. And the candles have been riding EMA4 resistance lower. That's the pink line here, currently at 231. So on Friday, there was a close above that level, and a bullish reversal pattern formed, bullish engulfing. So this is a strong reversal pattern. So we'll be looking for bullish reversal confirmation next week. And the key level to close above is going to be EMA 8 at 248. A close above that level, and you could potentially see a run up to the EMA 13 at 271. Ultimately, the big levels are going to be the middle Bollinger Band and this 50-day simple moving average. For AMRS to start a new uptrend, it's going to need to close above both of those levels and turn them into support. Right now, this is a dead cat bounce play. Notice there was some big volume at the bottom. There's a big volume spike on Thursday with a long lower wick on the candle that showed loading, and then a bounce. So we'll see if it can follow through. A close below EMA 4 would be a red flag, and that would signal more downside risk. So yeah, it's always a risk to hold a penny stock when it is forming candles below EMA 4 on the daily chart. Okay, let's look at SYN. Okay, this stock it had a nice break above resistance on Friday. So this has been in a good uptrend. The uptrend started back here in the first week of August when there's a close above the middle Bollinger Band. Notice that there was a close below back here in June, and then the candles had been trading below, and there was a very long downtrend. On the close above the middle Bollinger Band, that signaled the possible start of a new uptrend, and it has been heading higher ever since. The middle Bollinger Band held when it was tested, and then there was a key level to break, which was the closing price here on August 8th, and that happened on Friday. So the close above that level is signaling more upside potential. The next big target is going to be up here at this red line, which is the 200-day simple moving average at 71.4, and then the high close is right about 73 here. So yeah, this 71 to 73 is going to be a big resistance zone. If this uptrend continues, notice that this is the green and the gold line are the 50 and the 100-day simple moving averages. Notice how they turned into support and how the candles are riding this pink line here higher, EMA 4. This is a really strong uptrend, and if it continues, that 71 to 73 is going to be the next target. And so notice that the break above resistance was on a volume spike. Many times when that happens after you had a series of consolidation, it signals more upside potential. The one thing to keep an eye on is Fasto closed at 95, so it is temporarily overbought. RSI is at 66. It's still below the 70 overbought level, but sometimes when the candles close above the upper Bollinger Band, the candles work back into the bands, and if that happens, what you really want to see see is EMA4 and this closing price here at 61 turn into support. You really want to see that level hold for the continuation of this uptrend. Okay, let's look at CMLS. Keep an eye on this stock. This is one we've been following. You know, it broke above the 50 on RSI last week. You can see right here, it's above 50, and it's been holding above that level, so you want to see it stay above 50 if you're a bull. There was a bullish crossover here on Fasto. Okay, bulls want to see this green line plus DI get back above the black line. It did have a bearish crossover on Friday. Okay, so this has been in a really, you can see that the Bollinger Band's been trading in this tight channel. Notice the upper Bollinger Band is the solid purple line here and at about 45, and then the lower Bollinger Band here, the solid purple line at 40, and so the Bollinger Bands are really tight, and it's signaling that this consolidation pattern should end soon. And usually when you get a break to the upside, it signals that's the direction of the move. So far it's been stalling out, but it is holding, because right here on this candle it started to break to the upside on the 15th, but then it pulled back. It did hold the middle Bollinger Band, the dotted purple line at 43, and then it closed back above the 50-day simple moving average at 44. That's the green line. Going forward next week, if 44 holds and the candles stay above that green line, that's going to signal more upside potential. If it can get a close above the 46 level here, if it can close above that 46, you could see a breakout higher. You can see the 200-day simple moving average is all the way up here at 68, and that is our target once this thing finally breaks out, if it does. Okay, so notice that volume did pick up. There was a volume spike on last week on Tuesday. So you know, we'll see if the volume here is preceding the price for the potential run up to the 200-day simple moving average. So keep an eye on CMLS. If it closes back below the middle Bollinger Band, or it fails to hold the 50-day simple moving average, it will no longer be in play. Okay, take a look at SXE here. This is one of those stocks that had been riding EMA4 resistance lower, that pink line. Notice how the candle's just been riding lower and lower and lower below that pink line, and then on Friday there was finally a close above, and so there was a close above EMA4 and also EMA8. That's the 234, the line, and then notice the big volume spike on the 15th. So it looks like there was some loading down here on the bottom. So going forward next week, the share price has to break above this blue line here, which is the 300-day simple moving average at 244. If you see it close above that level, that could signal a potential run back up to the middle Bollinger Band. You know, there's a lot of resistance here with the 200 and the 50-day simple moving averages, but the close back above the EMA4 and EMA8 is a signal that the share price could run back up to that middle Bollinger Band. So keep an eye on it next week. Take a look at DCIX. You know, we always are keeping our eye on the shipping sector stocks, and this one's been consolidating down here at the bottom of the chart, and so it's trying to turn this EMA4 into support, currently at 45, the pink line. If it closes above this green line here at 48, okay, the lime colored line, if it closes above that next week, that's going to be the bull signal, and then you could see the run happen up here to the middle Bollinger Band at 75. You know, DRYS was able to get back above the middle Bollinger Band, and DCIX has been holding up here, so keep an eye on it. If you see a break above 48 next week, like on Monday, it looks like it could be setting up here with this, notice a declining volume pattern had formed. So there was declining volume, and then you had a volume spike. Even though it was not a very big volume spike, it was larger than the preceding two volume bars. That's a signal to keep an eye on it, and it closed above EMA4, above the pink line, after 2 days of closing below. So it's heated up, but for this chart, it's all about EMA8. Failed to break EMA8, and you just do not want to be holding. You know, the stock will only be in play if it gets above that level. Okay, take a look at SYNG. Okay, this is a OTC play. So it had pulled back after having a nice uptrend. You can see here, even though it pulled back, it stayed in the bull zone here in RSI. So you've got RSI at 62, so it still has room to run until overbought levels. And then notice down here on FASTO, this is all the way down at 11. So it's actually at pretty extreme oversold levels on FASTO, even though it is in a nice uptrend on the daily chart. Notice the middle Bollinger Band is this dotted purple line at 0.05. Candles forming above that level signals an uptrend. And so this stock is currently in an uptrend. It just had a pullback from 10 resistance. It had 3 red candles in a row, and then on Friday a bullish reversal pattern formed, which was bullish piercing line. And so, yeah, the close was more than halfway into the preceding candle after the gap down open, and so that's setting up a potential follow through on Monday and potential retest of 10. That would be the next target. You know, this 9 upper Bollinger Bands at 9, and then the big level to break is the high close here on the 14th. If it can close above that closing price on the 14th, that's going to signal continuation of the uptrend. If it fails to break that level, or fails to get back, turn this EMA4, the pink line, currently at 0.07, if it fails to turn that level back into support, you could see a drop down to the middle Bollinger Band at 0.05. In order for this to remain in play, it needs to stay above that level. If you watched our last SYN video, we said to keep an eye on EMA13 at 0.06. That was going to be the potential bounce level, because that was what happened back here in the first week of June. And notice that's exactly what happened again. It came down, hit the orange line, and bounced. So yeah, history did repeat here. So if history repeats and it holds this level, it could work its way back up to the top of the channel, which would put it back up to 14. So yeah, so we'll see if this uptrend can continue with SYNG. Another one to keep an eye on is BTCS. This is another one of the Bitcoin stacks that pulled back. Notice it did remain bullish on RSI. It's at 60 here. So it is in the still in the bull zone here with room to run until overbought levels. There's a start of a crossover here in FASTO. So this had a pullback as well. It did form a bullish Harami reversal pattern on Friday. It's holding EMA 8 support at 23. That's a key level to hold. We weren't sure if it was going to break EMA 8 support or not. Notice it held that level on Thursday, and then it proceeded to hold it again on Friday. So that was good for the bulls. If it does close below EMA 8, that the next support level is going to be EMA 13 at 20, but the big target would be down here at the 300-day simple moving average. Notice how fast the 300 is coming down. It's lining, it's going to hit the middle Bollinger Band here at 15 very soon. So that would be the big reload target. If EMA 8 support broke, you might want to just hold out to see if it pulled back to test that middle Bollinger Band. If EMA 13 fails to hold, so keep an eye on it. What we're looking for though to the upside is bullish reversal confirmation, and if that happens, it needs to get back above EMA 4 at 24. Then the really big level on this chart is going to be the high close here on the 14th at 42. It needs to break above that and make a new high to head higher. This was a gap fill play. Notice there was a gap between these two candles. The gap did fill on this wick, so the gap filled, and then it's holding the bottom of the gap support level currently at 23. Okay, but it's hitting top of the gap resistance at 26, so it needs to bust through that level in order to head higher. So yeah, keep an eye on BTCS. We're going to see if it can continue the uptrend. If you take a look here at the 15-minute chart, this is this is showing the gap. Okay, so this is the 15-minute chart, and here it shows the gap from back here on the 11th and the 14th, and then notice the share price came back and it filled the gap here on the 16th, and so it's back in this channel. Notice how it's hitting the top of the gap. The big level to break next week on Monday is going to be the 100 simple moving average at 27. That's this gold line. That's the top moving average on the 15-minute chart. If it can get above that level, that's going to signal that it's ready to break out higher. It should be the signal. The candles did close above the 200, the 50, and the middle Bollinger Band, and above the 300 simple moving average. So the chart is bullish right now on the 15-minute chart. It just needs to hold support and break through resistance to head higher. Okay, so take a look at VDRM here. Okay, this had a big move on Friday. This was following this was a multi-day run. And so it did. This also had a 100-day simple moving average as the top moving average at 0.02. That's the gold line here. It needs to hold that level. If that breaks and it pulls back into the bands, you could see a drop down to 17, 0.017. That's where the 200 and the 50-day simple moving averages are, because it did close above the upper Bollinger Band. That would be the really key level to hold, because if it failed to hold that level, you could see it drop down to the top of this descending resistance line, or possibly the middle Bollinger Band. The close on Friday did push above the 300, the middle Bollinger Band, which is the 20-day simple moving average, and then the 50, the 200, and the 100. So it broke above all those moving averages. So if it pulled back, you could potentially see that middle Bollinger Band retested. To the upside, this high close here at the top of the channel at about 0.028 is going to be the big level to break. But it's going to be all come down to this 100-day simple moving average at 2 cents. If it can turn that level into support, that's going to signal more upside. Fail to turn that level into support, and that'll signal consolidation. Notice there was a big volume spike on Friday. That could be the climax spike. You do have a bullish crossover here on MACD, and so that is a signal the chart is heating up, along with the PSAR bull flip. Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of if it can hold on to that level, and then the real high close level is going to be back up here at around 0.48. So yeah, this could have some upside potential. Keep an eye on it. It's at 63 on RSI, so it's not at the 70 overbought level, but it did close temporarily overbought at 98. You know, almost maxed on Fasto. And then take a look at FUTL. Okay, this was the medical marijuana stock that was up big on Thursday, and it had the big move and close above the 50-day simple moving average at 0.0011. And yeah, the share price pulled back below that level, and so going forward, if it can get back above the 50-day simple moving average, it will be in play. And then if it fails to turn that level into support, then you could see a drop all the way down to the double zeros again, and have the middle Bollinger Band at 0.007 tested. When a stock gets out of the triple zeros, you want to see it stay in the double zeros. So the big upside is if it turns the 50-day simple moving average into support, you know, you could see potentially a run up to the 100-day simple moving average all the way up at 0.0027. Keep an eye on the stock. They are getting into the initial coin offering. We'll see how that works out for them. For STBV, it didn't work out so well with the halt and then the big drop in share price. So the risk with this stock, with them mentioning initial coin offerings and their press release, is that it could potentially get halted, because that has happened to other penny stocks that have done the same thing. Same thing with CIAU, I believe was the ticker symbol. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for viewing this video. Check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com for more charts and technical analysis.